Welcome back to State of Decay 2 and the Salt of the Earth. I've managed to get myself into an awkward situation right now. I've got two missions going on right now that both involve IzzBee. As you can see over here on the mission list, we've got Meeting Cleo, the Haven Protocol, which is the one where IzzBee helps you install the Haven device at your base. And the other one is IzzBee's Mystery, Breaking the Code, which involves IzzBee being in a completely different location. So in the last episode, I started out with IzzBee, IzzBee's Mystery. And I was, I met up with Chavez, and I was clearing zombies out from the building where I was supposed to meet up with IzzBee. And then when it was time to talk to IzzBee, she was halfway across the map. And I was like, what is going on? And I realized she's in a different mission at the same time. This is not supposed to be possible. When, you can't really see this with any of my characters right now, but when a character is busy in a mission, you're not supposed to be able to grab them to do a different mission. And so, there are ways that you can circumvent it, but I didn't think... I scripted both of these missions, and I didn't think... You know what? Well, actually, I scripted... Did I script these missions? No, somebody else scripted them up front, and I edited both of these missions. That's right. I came in... That's right. I did work on both of these missions, but I wasn't the one who created them at the outset. And at the outset is when we would have set up the character castings. So actually, yeah, I didn't have any memory of setting up IzzBee as being castable in another mission. And so I was like, why? How is that even possible? Why would I have done that? But I didn't. I wouldn't have done it because other people set up these missions. They might have had a reason to. The thing is, if I remember right, it's been a long time since I've worked on State of Decay 2. If I remember right, when you make it so that a character can be cast in one mission without restricting them from being in another mission, the only thing they're allowed to do in that first mission is talk. Like, you can cast a character as a dialogue-only character, which means they can talk to you over the radio while they're busy doing something else. That leaves them, it leaves them free to do other things. And so that means that, if I got a mission where I would just want IzzBee to make one brief comment, but she's not important to the mission, I can make her a voice-only casting, which means that, she gets pulled into that mission to talk, but not to do anything else. I can't script her to do other things. So our tools should not make this possible. It shouldn't be possible for IzzBee to get cast in one mission and then get cast in another mission. And I'm trying to think, what could be the conditions that made this happen? So I did reset the map on Trumbull Valley. That's why these missions are casting right now, is because I reset the whole map. And so I'm wondering is it possible that the mission, if a mission was queued up before you do a map reset and then it gets queued up again, could it circumvent some of the casting rules? Maybe? Or, I don't know. This shouldn't be possible. So, Chavez is following me around right now because he's involved in the IzzBee's Mystery mission. If I talk to IzzBee, she'll become a follower, and then she and Chavez and I will go and do the IzzBee mission. And then when that's done, I'm going to come back and I want to do the Haven Protocol mission because I want to get a Haven device in my base. A free second Haven device, because I think I already owned one with this community in my base. But if we do that, the other thing I'm not sure about is, so if... I think that when a mission tells a character what to do, it just says once, hey, you go over here and stay in this location. And that's what IzzBee is doing. IzzBee has been assigned right now to stand in a particular spot that looks like she might, we don't know, when we're planning the mission, we don't actually know which slot you're going to install your Haven device in. So she's standing in a spot that seems relatively close to most of the open slots. And I tended to try to place her near the radio sort of the command center, because that's another place where you could imagine her needing to be in order to do the work that she's doing. So she's been told, stand here and idle and stay in this location. That's the only thing preventing her from running home. Most characters want to be at home. They want to be wherever their enclave lives. And that's what they try to be naturally. And if the mission ends, that's where they run off to. But I've told her to stay here. But I only tell her that once at the beginning of the mission scripting. So if I take her on a different mission, she becomes a follower and everything, and then she gets sort of wrapped up at the end of that mission, I'm assuming she won't come back to this mission. I'm betting this will break her, and she's going to run off to go home or something at the end of the IzzBee mission, and she won't be present for the Haven Protocol mission. That's my guess, but I don't know. We'll have to find out what she does. Before I get started with it, though, oh yeah, thank you, Paroxicus, for reminding me. I had other things I wanted to talk about. there's a couple ideas that people brought up. So somebody suggested the idea that that the character, that maybe IzzBee gets cloned. That basically IzzBee is created for each of these missions, and so therefore we would have 2 IzzBees. But that's not the case. I mean, like, the fact that IzzBee ran down here as soon as this mission was cast tells you that there's only one IzzBee. Because, like, if we were creating IzzBee for each mission, then we would have created an IzzBee up there in Spencer's Mill, and she would still be in Spencer's Mill for the IzzBee mission. And then we would also have created a second IzzBee to live down here. But part of the way that we're treating this like a simulated world is characters exist in one place at one time at any given time. And actually, we can't make characters go away. That's actually a weird limitation that we have. We can't disappear a character. Like, if a character is in the game, they're in the game. Like, they got to be somewhere. And also, they also have to have an enclave and a home. And let me tell you, that is one of the most obnoxious things that we had to deal with in mission scripting, is the fact that, like, basically there's almost like a hierarchy. Like, in order to exist, a character has to be in an enclave. And in order for an enclave to exist, the enclave has to have a base. And that is incontrovertible. Like, you can't make an exception to that. And so we can create characters who only exist on the radio and don't exist at all. But if a character ever needs to exist physically in the world, they have to be an actual character with an actual enclave with an actual home. And so that means if we want to depict something like in a random mission, like, oh, you found a random wandering character who's just in this house because they got waylaid by zombies, and you rescue them, and then they might join your community or they might leave the map. You would think that character doesn't need a home because they're just passing through and they leave immediately. But no, that character has a home. Every time that character has a home, usually it's a random house somewhere on the map that we hope you don't try to claim as an enclave, or claim as an outpost. Because I'm not even sure how we solved that. Did we make it so it was claimable and just you claimed it and it's still their home and whatever, they don't care? Or is it just, do we just typically claim homes in those cases that are just so unattractive as outposts that it just rarely happens you would try to claim a house that was on a temp character? I don't remember what solution we came up with for that, but it's weird. It was always extremely weird that all these characters needed to have homes. And if I were to design a similar system again, I would explicitly put in the plan for that system that we should not do it that way again, because that has been extremely obnoxious. So that was, I think it was Sky Blue who had suggested that maybe there were 2 IzzBees. I think they might not have been very serious about that. There was another comment. So Cogs suggested, actually, let me get started with this mission, then I'll talk about what Cogs suggested.
Ready to call down a rain of loot drops from our pal Cleo?
Yep. All right, so these 2 are now my followers, and so I'm going to drag IzzBee away. So she's saying wait for it, like we're supposed to witness the Cleo drop happening, but we can't because we're really far away. Like, we're supposed to be on the roof of the Swine and Bovine right now, watching Cleo drops fall. But we're not. And it's silliness. Okay, I'm going the wrong direction. So Cogs was asking me how I feel about the fact that in Update 33, we've got a feature where you can send a character to... I think to go clear out an infestation. And while that character does that, they're unavailable for 5 minutes. So for me, actually, honestly, I wish we had done more of that kind of thing. So I'm not opposed to it. I love the idea of being able to send characters out to do jobs. Because you've got all these people at your base, most of the time they're not doing a whole lot. Why can't we send them out to do jobs? And so this is us, I shouldn't say us, this is the team that I'm no longer a part of, making that thing happen. We thought about it for a long time, and in fact, State of Decay 1 did depict that kind of thing happening. I think you didn't have control over it. You couldn't say, hey, go and do this thing for me. But characters would constantly be sort of like, they would run out into the open, to go and get themselves into some trouble. And you would have to rescue them because they got stuck somewhere. And so we were at least depicting that sort of thing happening. Now, the closest in State of Decay 2, traditionally, that we get to depicting something like that happening is characters just saying over the radio. Oh, by the way, I should swap characters. Hey guys, let's get in the car and go swap characters because my character is just freaking exhausted now. Luckily, this isn't a personal mission, so I shouldn't lose the mission if I switch characters. But yeah, so I don't have a problem with that. I like the fact that we're doing that, and I wish that we had designed the game in such a way that there were more ways for you to put your people to work going out and doing things for you that that you didn't want to do for yourself. So, okay, so let's see. Do I have anything in my inventory? Yes, I think I do. Let's go drop off anything in my inventory that I don't need. Like this, and this, and this. And then let's switch to being who? Jaden. Let's be Jaden the Millennial. We haven't played Jaden in a while. Now, Jaden does not have the most stamina. Oh, I need a sheriff if I want to upgrade this. But okay, that only gives you extra wits XP. It already gives you the max stamina bonus, so that's okay. We don't need this. Oh, the improvised weapon station. That might be good at that particular site. I just like getting site appropriate items here. Bolt crafting. Oh, is that? Oh, that's like the one thing that I can't craft at the armory is bolts, but I think there's more interesting stuff that I could grab, like the fireworks crafting station, for instance. Can't build anything in the staging area. The farm would probably benefit from a Trumbull Valley Grow Chem. The latrine, nope. The barbecue pit, that wants a cake oven. And, okay, I've already got stuff there. Oh, I don't have anything in the workshop. What do I want in the workshop? I want all the weird ones. Did I already do fireworks crafting station? I think I did. Clio support transmitter. I think that might be the last spot left I've got. Oh, wait, no. Oh, upgrade storage. Upgrade storage. And then, okay, I can't upgrade another thing at the same time. I think I've done everything. Yes, I've installed stuff in all the places. Okay, great. So now I am Jaden the Millennial. Let's have a look at our inventory and see what I can do here. He has the crappest stamina, so we're gonna grab energy drinks for this guy and some of this. And okay, let's go get to work. Okay, so Cogs is pointing out that actually the downside that he is seeing in those oh, there's a bunch of freaking zombies over here. The downside that he's seeing in those missions is that it's a random survivor who's taken away for 5 minutes. It's the fact you don't get to select the survivor, which, yeah. There probably would have been, conceivably there's a way for us to let you select the survivor. It would have been elaborate, though. So, yeah, but I could see your concern there, why that would be frustrating. I haven't been playing with this feature, so I don't have a lot of first-hand experience with it. But I can see why you would find that frustrating. At least it's only 5 minutes, and so if you had an urgent need for that particular survivor, hopefully, let's right here. Let's just drop off some stuff. Did I just? Okay, good. But yeah, I can totally see where you're coming from. Yeah, luckily it is only 5 minutes, and you can decide when you want to do it. And so basically, what I would probably do is. Wait until... I want to keep... This fake A-47's got a lot of ammo in it, so I'm just going to drop that ammo. Is basically just do that mission right after you've switched characters, or right after you've confirmed that you don't want to play as a different character right that second, so that to minimize potential frustration. That's probably the move that I would make. But I imagine the first time somebody does that, it's going to be really weird, and then they'll start anticipating it. They'll work around it. It'll be okay. But yeah, I can see why you might consider that to be maybe a less than optimal implementation. So yeah, Cogs is saying, oh, we could reuse the exile mechanism. to select that. Well, the problem is if we ever wanted to do that would mean that it couldn't be a radio command because the exile mechanism where you're exiling or demoting a leader, that happens in the community screen, and you might notice we don't have a lot of buttons for you in the community screen. We're doing a lot of things in there, and so it wouldn't necessarily be easy to add one more thing there without a bunch of extra complication. So it wouldn't be as simple like if it's just a mission where it's randomly casting a survivor, any mission designer can do that. That's not something where you have to get, like an expert, basically. In, you don't have to have a programmer do that. Any designer can do it. And so that's another reason. It's like it's much easier to do it that way. But I'm not on the team, so I wasn't in on any of the discussions about, why to do it that particular way. So I'm not trying to like give you like, the reasons behind it, because I don't know the reasons behind it. Like I wasn't there, but I'm imagining the reasons behind it and sort of telling you like why I probably, the explanation that makes sense to me for why it is the way it is. Okay, so the mission's done. Where is IzzBee gonna go? Look at her go. You notice which way she's going? Oh, wait. Oh, no. I thought she was headed. Okay, she is. Why was she walking? Okay, yeah, so she is running back home to the ranger station. She is not going to my house where the other mission is, which means I'm pretty sure she's going to be talking to me over the radio from the ranger station. Pretending that she's at our place, which is going to be extremely weird. Yeah, so Cogs is coming up with more suggestions. He's saying, well, why don't you pick one particular person to always be the person who does that radio command? I mean, I guess, I don't think we've got a way to just, like, how would we do it? There are ways to have it be consistent. We could assign a trait, an invisible trait to a character, and then first try to cast somebody with that trait, and then only if I fail to cast somebody with that trait. Sorry, IzzBee. She cannot decide where she's going. But yeah, that only if we fail to cast somebody with that trait, then cast somebody else and grant them the trait, if they don't already have it. Like, we have the logic to do that, and so then we could basically say, once we've selected somebody, we always select the same person unless that person's gone, in which case we assign a new person to be the person. We could do that, except we still wouldn't have a way for you to decide who it is. And so we could cast the weirdest person by accident or something like that. And maybe it would be funny, for it to always be this one person who's obsessed with infestations. Excuse me. Oh my gosh. What the heck? All right, so let's go back here. Oh, I did it wrong because I got distracted by a zombie. Okay, I meant to unclick that and click that. All right, so let's go back. Let's do the Haven Protocol mission. Oh, hey there, Fallstar. Thanks for joining us. Okay, so we're gonna rejoin. And actually, you know what? I should be playing not Jaden. Jaden is the worst person to play in anything that involves a lot of combat. Okay, let's do fire safe storage. And aside from the Haven device, is there... Okay, I'm just gonna upgrade all of my stuff. I think that everything... I think I've built practically everything I'm gonna build here. I could grill some stuff up for extra morale if I want to. I mean, why not? But yeah, so let's switch away from Jaden, because he's just not really a combat monster. Let's have, I don't know, Sahin? What does Sahin have on his person? Looks like he's got a Scar H, or a Stormbringer. Oh, it's a Stormbringer. Okay, so let's get him all equipped. Some Molotovs. Some bullets for that Stormbringer. Oh, we're probably good then, huh? Sky Blue Aqua says this might be a good opportunity to put in some weird character traits about killing infestations. It would be kind of funny if, like, you know, if a character just sort of keeps getting selected again and again. I don't know how we would track this exactly. It would probably take a lot of invisible traits, honestly, to do it, and probably not worth it. But it would be funny if, like, the last invisible trait in a long chain of invisible traits was like, if the last one was visible, and we add a new trait that just says, weirdly obsessed with infestations. That could be kind of fun. Oh, Cogs is asking if I've used any anniversary cakes recently. I have not. This might be a good opportunity to use some anniversary cakes. Let's get some cakes. All right. Yeah, I guess it's time. Where are you, Hoffman? Let's go talk to Hoffman. Hey there, Hoffman.
I'm sad to see her go, but
I would be honored to accept Cleo into my heart. So, what are we gonna do?
So, Cleo, you ready to be roommates?
That information is not available at this time.
looks like we have everything we need for me to start the installation.
Whoa! IzzBee's back!
But as we all know, Cleo's broadcast frequencies draw a lot of attention from the
How did we do that?
It's gonna get a lot worse around here before it gets better. So, tell me when you're ready.
I wonder if we could have duplicated the command that sends her here in multiple places in the mission just in case she got off track. Maybe. Huh. Interesting.
Ready to make history?
Okay, let's start the installation. So yeah, we're going to have the one siege to rule them all, basically. The whole idea of the Haven device, prior to the changes to the infestations and sieges that are upcoming in Update 33, which kind of changes the whole landscape. And I believe that actually at the next State of Decay 2 stream, the last one if you're watching this later on YouTube, part of the plan is to talk about how the Haven device works in the new world. But yeah, the whole idea was, you know, sieges were just so annoying. That the idea was you do one big siege and then you're done worrying about sieges. You just never have to think about them again because you've got the Haven device. Never even have to think about zombies being in your home. So instead of like a 30-second siege or a 2-minute siege, we've got like a 4-minute siege. Which is a little much as sieges go. Hey, don't kill IzzBee. No, I'm not trying to talk to you, IzzBee. Trying to murder a zombie in front of you. Okay, so far this isn't too bad. Because our sieges are just so twitchy. They're just really sensitive to weird little details of like the landscape and the situation. Oh, hello. Stop.
When does the helpful part come in?
Hello, friend. Oh, good. I didn't notice that I had aim snap. That would have made the last thing easier. Okay, Peroxicus is asking if Dr. Hoffman is in Heartland. Yeah, so Dr. Hoffman is your sort of main contact from Echo Lab when you're trying to, you know, she's the one who like tells you about the plague hearts. I mean, sorry, about the plague walls. So Logan comes out, takes you out, and shows you the plague walls. But Hoffman is the one who's sort of Logan's boss, who tells you about the, about the gauntlet, who like sort of offers to send you after, to send you radio commands to help you find bloaters, that sort of thing. So yeah, so she's definitely involved. She's a returning character. Okay, Paroxicus says he remembers Logan, then he's like, oh, Logan's boss, right? Yeah, that's who Hoffman is. Oops. So I'm really surprised not only that IzzBee came here at all, but also that she came here so quickly. I mean, I guess when our characters get confused, I mean, we did see her running back and forth in Spencer's Mill. It could be that she was trying to get here, but the distance she had to go was so long and the path was so complex that she was just getting confused about which way was the right way to go. Like, I could imagine a character who's reliant on Navmesh getting confused where, like, I don't know, like, there could be setups where you start following a path in one direction, and then when you recheck the path, you need to run in the opposite direction. I could see ways for something to be messed up to make that happen. So yeah, so maybe that's what was going on with her. She always knew she needed to come back here. But she looked like she was running home in Spencer's Mill. Ooh, she's done. Oh, let's go watch something get... Oh, dang. I was going to go watch something get nailed by the Haven Protocol, but... Nope, it died already. Okay, that guy... I was trying to attract that guy over to watch the Haven device nail him, but I guess not. I guess that's not a thing I can do. So Sky Blue says normally there's like 4 juggernauts at this point in installing the Clio in lethal mode. Green is so easy by comparison. So here's the problem. Like, I'm at dread difficulty when it comes to combat. And missions they're not actually aware of what the difficulty level is. So the Siege should still have had juggernauts. That's why I was commenting of like being surprised that there were so few fancy, scary zombies in this, because there should have been. I don't know what mechanism would have stopped it. So yeah, that was a little odd. That's why I was saying that, like, you know, our sieges are just very, very sensitive to just random circumstances making them weird. Well, yeah, so that was actually surprisingly way less broken than I thought it would be. I mean, it was still pretty broken. IzzBee there, she was acting like a weirdo in her other mission, but for this one, she actually kind of did her job. I'm a little shocked. So I feel like there was one more thing I was going to talk about before we left. And by the way, I've got no idea why this slot must have an exclamation point on it because of that mission or something. Sometimes I think we've got a bug where sometimes these facility slot exclamation points will just stick around endlessly for no good reason. Oh, gotcha. Okay, you know what? I was misreading the food thing. I thought that it would... Never mind. Yeah, okay, so we're getting plenty of food per day. And, oh, yeah, our meds have gotten really, really low, haven't they? Interesting. Okay, so we got a little extra food and a little extra ammo. Let's definitely take advantage of that extra ammo. I think I've been going through this a little bit. And the food, I mean, what can we spend food on? Let's... No rationing. Okay, we could bake some anniversary cakes. We could also make some nutritious snacks. And, oh, we can make some energy drinks. Wait, do those contain food? Those might not actually contain food. They do contain food and chemicals. Okay, oh, ammo is still a little high. Let's just make a little bit more of our favorite 7.62 bullets. There we go. Okay, all of our resources are under control. So there's still stuff that I need to do. I still need to run around and collect and claim some more outposts. We got some infestations going on. I remember the thing I was gonna say. I knew if I screwed around for a little while, I would remember. So I think I just it triggered a visual memory while I was running around in this base during a siege. So when I ended my series with the commune, I ended it by graduating them to lethal, and I was going to start a new series with them in lethal. But when I arrived at my base, I had a haven device with them, and so siege missions have been trying to cast for a really long time and failing because of the haven device. And so the moment I showed up in lethal, I think it might have been, I might have landed in the barn right here. As soon as I moved them to lethal, a siege started because, of course, I had to go to a new map. Because they had just completed their legacy mission. I went to a new map, and a siege started instantaneously in lethal, which is just not what I wanted. I didn't want the first thing I did in lethal to be a massive siege, and so I panicked. I paused the game. I quit, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna wait, and I'm not gonna go to lethal for a while. And maybe if Update 33 comes out, it'll change the way that sieges work. And I won't get that siege. Unfortunately, Brandon, one of our QA guys, called me up, not called me up, but like sent me a message today or yesterday and told me that no, they had tested that out. Like they had heard that I was banking on that, and they had tested it out. And no, if you have a siege that is already on deck, when you get Update 33, that siege still plays out. The old school, ridiculous old sieges, that one siege will still play out, and then you'll switch over to the new system. But first I have to live through that siege. So my lethal zone playthrough is going to start with a disaster. And there's just no two ways about it. So I just found that out today, so it'll be fun. I'll probably explain this again whenever I actually start that lethal playthrough, which is going to be uncomfortably soon, because my plan basically, so yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap up this session now, having made 2 episodes just now back to back with the Salt of the Earth, and then next week I'm gonna try to do the Gauntlet. I'm assuming that La Coalición is gonna show up for that one, and so we'll do the Gauntlet next week on 420. Seems like a good time to do insane things. And then, you know, hopefully I'll be done with Heartland at that stage, and I'll be ready to come back and try out the Lethal Zone. So at the beginning of May, I'm going to try out the Lethal Zone. If things go according to plan, I'll try out the Lethal Zone, and it's going to start probably with a massive bloodbath. So and I'm going to lose a bunch of my favorite commune characters, and it's going to be great. Let's see here. Oh, so Carter JN asks, why do Red Talon operators get morale penalties? So, yeah, so the story of me and Red Talon operators is complicated, but yeah, let me try to explain it. So, when we first got started with Daybreak, one of the rewards we wanted to include was Red Talon operators. We wanted them to be there to be like a special character that you could recruit that could come into your normal game as a result of you having excelled at Daybreak. It was a reason for players of the core game to go out and try Daybreak and sort of get into it and then bring back something of value, which would be these characters. And I was assigned to make the characters, to make sort of the new schema that would sort of generate these characters. And it was a lot of fun. I was like, ooh, they could do this, they could do that. And I just, my brain started going, and I came up with all of these alternate versions of skills for them and everything. And my intention was that they would have amazing core skills, but kind of garbage community skills. But I was having too much fun. And I also gave them amazing community skills. And no one caught me. And so basically, Red Talon operators are just amazing. They're just really good in every way. And that's a problem because it devalues all of the other characters. And it makes it so that it feels like, oh, well, the way to play the game is to recruit nothing but Red Talon operators. Now, that's not bad if somebody wants to do that. If they want to have an entire community of Red Talon operators, that's fine, go nuts. But that should be a weird decision. That shouldn't be the way to play the game. And unfortunately, when you make them unequivocally the best characters in the game, and they're just extremely versatile, and they can do a lot of things, that kind of messes things up a little bit. It means that like all the other characters feel like they're garbage next to Red Talon operators. And so after it came out, and after it dawned on me that that was going on, I was like, this is embarrassing. I designed this poorly. Like this was a bad decision on my part. And like I was having fun as a player of State of Decay 2, designing a neat thing for myself to play with. And this is why, like, when people are like, you should, hire fans. Don't hire fans to make things, because I was designing. Like, I was designing those Red Talon operators as a fan of State of Decay 2 who wanted to have a fun time playing with them as a State of Decay 2 player. And I didn't think of the fact that it's more fun, ultimately, if things are balanced, if things are, if you can get a special reward that has a special role to play, but it doesn't overwhelm the entire rest of the game. And so, yeah, so I was designing like a fan. I wasn't designing like a designer, and I made a mistake. And so during one of our later updates, I had the opportunity to go back in and just try to rebalance them a little bit. I didn't go through and just take away all of their nice fifth skills. I tried not to take away something that felt like it was extremely valuable, that sort of defined them. And so I had limited options. I assigned some negative downsides to some of their traits, so they would keep the thing that was good, but also gain a sort of a negative that came along with it. And then I also gave all of them a negative. And I think they might have actually started with this particular negative because I realized I needed to give them something negative, which was the morale penalty. So I might have increased the morale penalty when I revised them, or I don't remember exactly the order of operations there. But yeah, so that was what happened. But the justification, if what you were really asking was what's the lore justification for it, it's the fact that they're from an outside faction and they have got loyalties elsewhere outside the community. Everybody else in the community, this is their home, this is their community. They're 100% devoted and they trust each other. Red Talon operators are outsiders. They're from another faction and their loyalty is to that outside faction, not to the local community. And so as a result, they don't fit in. And they don't feel like they belong here. They feel like they're actually doing a crap job. Like they've been sent to this podunk garbage place where they have to live with these weird people, and they're not doing cool Red Talon stuff. And so they're sad. No one likes them, and it's just not a fun time for them. That's why their morale is low. So that's a story that I imagine in my head to justify their morale being low. So Peroxy says, so that's why that one dude uses 2 beds? Yeah, exactly. So that there's lots of different sort of ideas that I had. I ended up reusing that idea for Logan, actually, in Heartland. But yeah, but basically that's what we did is sort of come up with reasons why, like, I think it was it the logistics guy who uses 2 beds because he's just all these piles of papers and things that he needs to sort of pile things on one bed and then sleep on another bed. I think was my justification there. So yeah, so Carter Jan says, understandable, Red Talon operators are kind of OP, LOL. Yeah, exactly. That's what we're contending with. So, let's see here. So, Cog says, a community of all Red Talons would negate that lore bad morale. That's true. I think you could still consider this, even if it's all Red Talon, you can still consider this a crap assignment compared to other cool assignments they might have. I imagine that whenever you're hearing Sasquatch over the radio, he's sitting up at Crow Lake sipping a martini or something like that in a Hawaiian shirt, like open, showing his hairy chest, lying on a chaise lounge, watching, basic training and making fun of the recruits. That's probably what he's doing. And so if you're one of these people who's out here on the frontier, doing whatever stuff you do out here, they probably wish they were back there with Sasquatch doing what Sasquatch was doing. So you can still justify them not liking being out there, even if they're in an all Red Talon group, because, I mean, the place where I script how traits and stuff work, I have no awareness of what else could be going on in the community. So I can't make, like, say, a trait that works one way until everyone has that trait and then it works a different way. That's just not an option that's available to me. So I couldn't have implemented that. But yeah. VXN Mustang. Okay, last question. VXN Mustang asked if I'm pro or against modding. I'm pro modding being possible. I rarely have great experiences as a player of mods, and I'm usually a little intimidated by them, so I don't use them myself when I can avoid it. But I definitely understand the appeal, and I've got nothing against people doing it. You know, like, I mean, you bought the game, you know, yeah, mess around with it. I mean, if it's a great way to get, you know, great ideas out in the world. It's a great way to, you know, to train, you know, up and coming game developers. Modding is a really cool thing. So yeah, no, I'm 100% in favor of it happening, even if I don't really play a lot of mods myself. So Peroxicus says Chavez is the only Red Talon that doesn't seem egotistical, but I think that's because when we meet him, he's almost dead. Yeah, you know, he's not that full of himself, but it is because he watched his entire team die and he felt responsible for it. So that can happen. By the way, VXN Mustang, thanks for coming. This was their first chat in our stream, so I'm glad that you're here. And unfortunately, it's time to go. So you won't be here anymore. So we'll wrap this up. At some point, I'll come back and I'll play more Salt of the Earth. I need to claim the rest of those outposts. And at some point, I would need to get some bounties. So this probably says bounties on it. That's just, you know, that's what this team is for.